Hi, Brad and Pamela here from Wellness Within, helping you to stress less and thrive. In this video, we're going to give you a quick overview of what emotional freedom techniques, EFT or tapping is, some benefits of tapping, and show you exactly how easy it is to do so you can use tapping on your own to help you feel more at ease in the moment. Tapping is a simple mind-body tool that you can quickly learn and use to calm unwanted emotions that are keeping you stressed. It's called tapping because you actually tap on certain points of the body while focusing on what it is that's upsetting. When you tap, you're communicating with the fear center of your brain, which is called the amygdala, letting it know it's okay to release that negative emotion, that stress, allowing you to feel calm, more in control, and to be able to think clearly and creatively. And by making tapping a part of your self-care practice, you're also supporting your immune system because stress actually weakens the immune system. So I'm going to show you the points now. There are 9 points. And then Brad's going to explain how to go about tapping. And then we'll actually practice it. Okay, the first point is what we call the karate chop. And that's on this fleshy part of your hand. And with the fingertips of the other hand, you just gently tap on that area. Okay. And it doesn't matter. You can do left to right or right to left. It really doesn't matter. The next point is called the eyebrow point, and it's where the eyebrow begins. You can see Brad is just tapping with one hand, and I'm using two. Again, whatever is most comfortable for you. The third point is the outside of the eye, and that's on the outside of the eyebrow, on the bone. The next point is under the eye, and you can feel the bone there as well. Gently tapping. There's no need to tap hard. That's followed by the nose point, under the nose point. And the next point is on the little crease between your lip and chin. That's followed by what we call the collarbone point. And it's actually just a little bit below the collarbone. And again, you can tap with two hands or one. Some people even tap with the palm of their hand, whichever you feel is most comfortable for you. The next to the last point is under the arm, and that's about 4 inches below your armpit. And the last point is the very top of your head. Again, with two hands or one. And those are the points. You can get a copy of a PDF of those points by clicking on the link below this video.
So when we do the tapping, we speak some words, and a lot of people that we know in our experience don't tap because they don't know what to say. So we're going to help you along with that to explain to you what you say and how you say it. So in terms of what you say, we look at what's going on in our life, either thinking about it or experiencing it in terms of what are the emotions that come up. So I'm going to ask you right now to think of something, either an event or a situation in your life, that when you think about it right now, it calls up a mild emotion of either frustration, irritation, or annoyance. Now, of course, there can be many other emotions like anger, resentment, bitterness, and so forth. We're going to stay away from those in this video. So think of something in your life that when you think about it now, you call up irritation or frustration or annoyance. So for me, I can do that because we experience this every day of our lives. We get constant phone calls from telemarketers. And that to me is very irritating. So the first part of the language that comes up is the emotion that comes up for me when I think of something that's going on, a situation that's going on in my life. Now, when we think of language, we want to be as specific as we can. So there's a couple of words you can ask when you think of your emotion. One word is why. Why am I irritated? Or just follow the emotion. I'm irritated with the word because. So in my case, I'm frustrated with telemarketers because they are constantly disrupting whatever we're doing in the moment, whether we're watching a show, watching the news, or we're busy doing something in the house. The phone rings and naturally you want to answer it, and it's a telemarketer.
Often.
Half a dozen to a dozen times a day. It's very irritating. So that's where some of the language comes from. It's what is going on for you, either in a moment or when you think of something that brings up an emotion. A second part of where that language comes from is where that emotion shows up in your body.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, when we have an emotion, particularly if it's at a high level, it's going to show up in your body. It's going to be a knot in the stomach or the solar plexus, butterflies in the chest, a tension in the neck or shoulders. Something's going to show up in the body, indicating that there's some emotion going on. You can incorporate that into the words as well when you're tapping. So an example would be, I'm irritated at telemarketers because they're disrupting whatever we're doing in the house constantly, and I feel a knot in my solar plexus. So that's where the language comes from. It's really how you're feeling in the moment about something that's happening in the moment, or something that you can think in the past that has happened. You can even think about what's going to happen in the future and call up an emotion. Now, the next question is, how do I say it? And we're going to, as Pamela mentioned, we're going to start with the karate chop. And when we start with the karate chop, we have what's called a setup statement. And that setup statement has three parts. You don't have to remember it's a setup statement, but you want to remember it has three parts. The first part is every setup statement starts with the words, even though. So even though I'm irritated. Second part is what's the emotion and because or why. So even though I'm irritated because the phone is constantly ringing with telemarketers and disrupting what we're doing in the house. That would be the second part. There's a third part. And because we start by tapping on the negative, in other words, what the problem is, what the issue is, we're going to balance that with what's called a balancing phrase. Don't have to remember that. Just remember that the third part adds a positive affirmation to the negative statement. And it can be something like, I honor and accept how I feel right now, or I honor and accept who I am. So putting that all together, it sounds like this, and we use the karate chop to begin with. Even though I'm irritated because the phone is constantly ringing with telemarketers disrupting what's going on in the house, I honor and accept how I feel right now. That's called the setup statement, and that's how we begin. That's where the language comes from. How are you feeling? And I could also add, and I feel it in my solar plexus, or I feel it as a knot in my solar plexus. And then when we tap around the different points, we just borrow either words or phrases from that beginning statement. So we could use the word irritation, marketers, disrupting my day, really irritating. So it might look like this. I'm really frustrated. I'm really irritated. I'm irritated. Constantly being disrupted. Those telemarketers. I'm irritated. Really get irritated. So it's just using the words from the setup statement, from the beginning statement, in the round, at each point, saying one or more of those as you move through. It doesn't really matter which ones in what order, none of that counts. It's just trying to keep your amygdala, the fear center of the mind, focused on what it is
Mhm.
you want to release.
Did you want to talk about how we would rate
Good
the
point.
intensity
Good
of the
point.
emotion?
Before we get started with the tapping, we want to rate the intensity of the emotion that we're feeling in the moment as we're thinking of it. So we rate it, we use a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 is, I'm not irritated at all, to a 10, where I'm really irritated, it's off the charts. This is just a guesstimate on how you're feeling before you start the tapping, so you can actually tune in and test again after the tapping to see how the tapping has shifted what's going on for you in the moment. Thanks for reminding me about that.
Okay, so let's practice together exactly what it would look like, and we'll use another example. And I'm going to guide you through all the tapping points, so you will just tap along, follow my lead, and say what I say. And Brad's going to be doing the same thing. And for this practice, this modeling session, one of the things that is a good example for that is what's going on right now, and brings up some annoyance, probably for you as it does me. And I'm annoyed because of the COVID-19. It keeps me limited. I'm not able to go out of my home, my house, and be with family and friends. So I'm stuck in the house. And
with me, no less.
That's the hardest part. So I'm annoyed with the COVID-19 keeping me stuck at home. And I feel that annoyance. Actually, I feel it in my stomach. It's kind of like a cramping sensation. And so I would rate that about a 5. So what I have done is I have identified what it is that I feel. I acknowledge what I feel, and that's annoyance. So let's begin. And by first off, taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now, this deep breathing actually begins the calming process within your body. So let's start tapping. We start on the karate chop. Even though I am annoyed.
Even though I am annoyed.
Because this COVID-19 is keeping me stuck at home.
Because this COVID-19 is keeping me stuck at home.
I feel that annoyance in my stomach like a cramping.
I feel that annoyance in my stomach like a cramping.
And I deeply and completely accept that's how I feel in this moment.
And I deeply and completely accept that's how I feel in this moment.
Okay. On the eyebrow. I'm annoyed.
I'm annoyed.
Outside of the eye. I'm annoyed with COVID-19.
I'm annoyed with COVID-19.
Under the eye. I'm annoyed I'm stuck in the house.
I'm annoyed I'm stuck in the house.
Under the nose. I'm annoyed.
I'm annoyed.
I'm annoyed and feel it in my stomach.
I'm annoyed and feel it in my stomach.
On the collarbone. I'm annoyed with COVID-19.
I'm annoyed with COVID-19.
Under the arm. I'm annoyed that I'm stuck in the house.
I'm annoyed that I'm stuck in the house.
Top of the head. I'm annoyed with COVID-19 because I'm stuck in the house.
I'm annoyed with COVID-19 because I'm stuck in the house.
And then take a deep breath. Now that was one round of tapping. And what you would do now is to check in with how strong that annoyance is. And for me right now, when I check in on that, I'd say it's about a 3. And how I know that is I also want to check in with my stomach. And the cramping sensation that I had in my stomach, those slight cramps that I had, they're just about gone. There's still a sensation, an uncomfortable feeling, but it's not that deep cramping. And another way of knowing that my level has come down is that it's I have this thought that, well, that's the way things are right now. I know it's temporary, um, and that's what we need to do right now. So that's what that round of tapping did, was to give me a little bit more clarity.
Mhm.
Once you calm those strong emotions, those emotions that are escalating, and beginning to control how you feel and what you think, once you can calm those, you have a different perspective. So it's still a 3, so let's do another round on that. So let's start on the karate chop. Even though I still have some annoyance,
Even though I still have some annoyance,
because COVID-19 is keeping me stuck at home,
because COVID-19 is keeping me stuck at home,
I completely accept that's how I'm feeling right now.
I completely accept that's how I'm feeling right now.
On the eyebrow, I'm still annoyed.
I'm still annoyed.
Outside of the eye, this remaining annoyance.
This remaining annoyance.
Under the eye, this remaining annoyance about COVID-19.
This remaining annoyance about COVID-19.
This remaining annoyance that I feel in my stomach.
This remaining annoyance that I feel in my stomach.
On the chin, this remaining annoyance.
This remaining annoyance.
Collarbone, this remaining annoyance that I feel in my stomach.
This remaining annoyance that I feel in my stomach.
Under the arm, this remaining annoyance about COVID-19.
This remaining annoyance about COVID-19.
Top of the head, this remaining annoyance.
This remaining annoyance
that I feel in my body.
that I feel in my body.
Take a deep breath. So check in. Now you would check in on that annoyance and what level it is. And for me right now, it's down to a 1. I don't know if anybody else can relate to that. But that's what you would do, is to check in with that. And the whole goal of tapping is to calm those strong emotions so they're no longer running your life. So we hope this has been helpful. And if you have any questions whatsoever about tapping, please feel free to get in touch with us. You can write a comment below, send us a comment, or reach us at our email at Pamela at wellnesswithinct.com or Brad at wellnesswithinct.com. So keep tapping.
Hope you enjoyed it.